Strategic pricing. As consultants, one of the major challenges we do have is the challenge of pricing. It's a very big challenge. Challenge of trying to say exactly how much should we charge. So let's look at it and see what we have. Okay, so we're going to look at defining price, looking at what strategic pricing is, then looking at what value, what clients actually call value, then look at the different kinds of pricing of products, the various methods of fixing prices, the various types of pricing models. Then we'll look at what is list price, then look at steps for developing pricing strategy, then we'll look at types of pricing objectives, and what is meant by price sensitivity. As a way of introduction, Glam Cosmetics Incorporated has been a leading manufacturer of cosmetics for more than 2 decades. It manufactures a range of cosmetics such as lipsticks, nail colors, foundation, eyeliners, and so on. Glam Cosmetics holds the largest market share as far as cosmetic industry is concerned. However, now Glam's board members and management feels that they need to diversify their product range and enter into the world of perfumes and deodorants too. The management has decided that Glam will introduce a new range of perfumes and deodorants in the perfume industry. Their aim is to capture the largest market share and become leaders in the perfume industry in the next 5 years. As a stepping stone into the perfume industry, Glam has decided to introduce its first deodorant called Glamaroma. The main USP of this deodorant will be its low price offering. Glam aims to capture a large market share of the deodorant industry with Glamaroma, especially by capturing the youth segment, university students, working women, and so on, who use deodorants daily and would like an economical option which is not heavily on their wallets. However, the main strategy that Glam needs to work out perfectly is how low the deodorant should be priced such that it can capture the market share and yet prove to be profitable enough for the company. Glam knows that one of the main considerations while introducing its new deodorant will be its price, which can make or break its new venture. If the product is not priced correctly, it will fail to capture its customers' hearts and hence fail to capture a significant portion of the market share. Also, if the product is not priced correctly, it can also prove to be detrimental to the company's financial health if it fails to bring in the returns that is expected from this new venture. Hence, you can understand that strategic pricing of any product or service is crucial to the success of the product in the market. Now, let's learn about the strategic pricing in detail. First of all, let's try to understand what price is. The price is the amount a customer pays for the product. The amount the customer pays for the product. Price is dependent on a number of factors. Some of the factors are the market share, competition, material cost, product identity, customers' perceived value of the product, and so others. So what is strategic pricing? Strategic pricing is the strategy of setting a product's price based on the product's perceived value to the customer or on a competitive strategy rather than on cost of production. I'll repeat this again. Strategic pricing is the strategy of setting a product or service price based on the product's perceived value to the customer or on competitive strategy rather than on cost of production. In the consulting industry, we do more of strategic pricing rather than pricing based on cost of production. Because if you were to do pricing based on cost of production, you might necessarily not charge anything. Okay, so we need to understand the concept of strategic pricing so that we can work well with it. Okay, someone said, I can't see your slides. So please, can you see now? I've reshared the slides. Let me be sure that you can see. Please, if you can see now, let me know. And if there's any other person having the same challenge, let me know also. All right. So you price your product or your consulting based on the perceived value, not on cost of production. All right. Principles of strategic pricing. The main principle on which strategic pricing works is that it believes that people usually make buying decisions based more on psychology than on logic. Also, based on customer psychology, it is not necessary that what may be perceived as most value by the customer may also be highly priced or most expensive to produce. So that is drawing us back to emotional intelligence. Now, interrelationship between components of marketing mix, as they are part of the things that determine pricing. The four elements of marketing mix, namely product, price, promotions, and place, are related with each other. Hence, a marketer has to consider these interrelationships and then design an optimal marketing mix which takes care of both customer satisfaction and organization objective. An example of an interrelation can be seen in that tools of promotion depends upon the nature of the product, the price that can be charged for that product, and the process through which the product, through which it would reach the consumer. Now, in this case, what then is price? Price is the amount of money or goods for which a product or service can be bought or sold. The amount of money or goods for which a product or service can be bought or sold. Hence, it is the measure of the value of the product in a monetary or financial terms. So whenever we say price, we are talking about utility. All right, price should be equal to utility. Remember, utility is the value the customer derives from using a product. Okay, the quality that they perhaps the value that the customer derive from using a product is called utility, right? So the customer should have the price of a product should be equivalent to the utility that is derived from the product. All right. So price is value measured by what must be given, done, or undergone to obtain something. Price is also the marketing variable that can be changed most quickly, such as reaction to a competitor price change. What then is meant by value? As you have seen, the value of a product is expressed in monetary or financial terms through the price of the product. However, for a customer, price is the amount that he pays for the value of the product that he wants to enjoy or gain benefit from by purchasing the product as compared with other available items. So price could also, or perhaps value is the benefits that a customer tends to enjoy from a product that he or she is paying for, or from a service that he or she is paying for, as compared to other as compared to others in the marketplace. Okay. Hence, value can be defined as perceived value equal to perceived benefit minus perceived cost. Perceived value equal to perceived benefit minus perceived cost. That will give you value, or value is equal to benefit minus cost. That will give you value. So the primary motivation for a customer to buy a product is mainly due to need or a want. The secondary motivation for a customer to buy a product comes from the perceived value that he sees in the product. This value makes him perceive certain benefits in purchasing the product that will satisfy his needs and wants. It is obvious that the perception of people varies from one to another. Hence, it is natural that the perceived value of a product will also vary from one customer to another. Value of a product may be differently perceived by different customers based on their personal preferences, gender, age group, social status, and so on. Hence, the biggest challenge that an organization faces is to fix a price that fits in the perceived value of the product as perceived by the different people. For this purpose, organizations generally try to segment the market, that is to divide up the market into groups of consumers whose preferences are broadly similar in order to gain the maximum possible value from the available market. How to increase value of product? How do we increase value of product? Also, there are two ways in which organizations try to increase the value of their product in the eyes of the customer. Businesses, by increasing the benefit that the product will deliver to the customer by reducing the manufacturing cost so that price can be reduced. You must keep in mind that for the customers, it is the price of the product that is the most obvious indicator of cost, and so an organization must get the product pricing right. Tip: the most effective pricing strategist is one who can become more of a facilitator, who leads from the middle rather than the top. Hence, it is important that the pricing strategist who wants to become an effective strategist would learn to act as a facilitator and connector, involving others to tap into and develop an organization's unique range of pricing strategies, policies, objectives, and relationships. Now, quickly, let's look at the different kinds of pricing of products. We have list price, we have discounts and allowances, we have payment period, and we have credit terms. So let's look at each one and find out what they mean. List price. In retail, list price is regularly quoted to customers before applying discounts. List prices are usually the prices printed on dealers' list, invoices, price tags, catalogs, or dealer purchase orders. Discounts and allowances. Discounts and allowances are reductions to basic price of a good or a service. Payment period. The payment period is a stipulation by a business as to when it should be paid for goods or services supplied, as cash on order, payment on delivery, or within a particular number of days of the invoice date. Credit terms. A credit term is a financial mechanism in which an arrangement for deferred payment for goods and services is made available. This arrangement is made available in exchange for a charge or a fee. Okay, methods of pricing. So we can have cost-based approach to pricing or competition-based approach to pricing. Cost-based approach or competition-based approach. Cost-based approach or competition-based approach. Okay, cost-based approach is the simplest method of pricing. In this method, the companies add a certain percentage of profit to the total cost of the product. The total cost of the product is calculated after taking all types of cost into consideration. While following this approach, no other factors, e.g. prices of substitute goods, nature of demand, etc. are considered. Now I have the competition-based approach to pricing. Competition-based approach to pricing. The competition-based approach to pricing in a competition or competitive market, cost-based approach is not always practicable. In a competitive market, cost-based approach is not always practicable. So that means we need to use value innovation, blue ocean strategy to be able to manage our businesses there. Companies may follow any one of the following three approaches: price in line, price market plus, market minus. Price in line means prices fixed nearly equal to the prices of close alternatives. When companies charge or fix up a price which is more than the price of existing substitutes, it is called market plus pricing. Sometimes businesses or business enterprise may supply products at a price lower than the market price. This method may be adopted to grab a large or larger market share, or to make a newly introduced product more popular. This approach is called market minus. So I have, first of all, market in line, or price in line rather, which is pricing according to what the substitutes in the market is saying. Then we have market plus, pricing a little higher than the market in line. Market minus, pricing a little lower than the market in price in line. Now, more often when we do price or market plus, we are trying to put in the mind of the customer that this product is of more quality than others. When we try to do market minus, customers natively have that notion that this product is lesser. So out of 10 products, your own is the cheapest. So why? So it means that we need to be psychologically in order to make sure that we take the right pricing approaches. All right. Setting a price. How do you set a price? The following factors should be taken into consideration by marketers or consultants for setting the price of a product or service. Target segment, cost, competition, society, and law. They will have variants, prices, and discount policy. Now let's look at each of them. Target segment, how much the target segment is willing to pay at different price levels, which is also known as the price elasticity of demand. They will have cost. What is the cost borne by the firm in manufacturing and marketing the product? Then we'll have competition. Competition here has to talk about the prices of competitors. Society and law. Price should be set within societal norms and legal framework defined by the state and national laws. Variant prices. Prices across models and geographical regions have to be established. Also, discount policy. The price should be set after taking into account and also framing the policies on discounts. Some of the different kinds of discounts or rebates that are offered to consumers to lure them to buy the product and help increase sales volume are innovative discounts, discount sales in shopping malls, off-season sales, closing down sales, credit points, exchange offers like mobiles, cookers, cars. They have festive sales like Christmas and Diwali sales. Diwali is from India, right? End of season sales and special sales. Okay, let me ask a question. How many of us know that by next year, our courses will return back to what they used to be? How many of us know that the cost that could be of 85,000 today will be 150 by next year or 200? How many of us know? And those of them that are 50, 60, by next year they will return to 100, 120. How many of us know that? Okay, so primarily the reason why we have been doing a whole lot of discounts is because of COVID-19. Okay, and by next year we are starting our executive MBA programs. The accreditations are already on ground, so by next year we are starting our executive MBA programs. But we will make sure that everyone gets access to it. Everyone interested gets access to it. We are starting our MBA executive programs and DBA executive programs. And then we are starting our advanced diploma programs also. So if you are going to be running a professional course with us next year, you'll be having an advanced diploma attached to it. That's for those that will be doing associate, and those that will be doing what they call it, the senior programs will be having an executive MBA attached to it. So the programs that will be running for 6 weeks or perhaps 8 weeks and 3 months, perhaps most of the programs that will be running for 3 months. By next year, most of the programs will be running like 6 months to 1 year, dependent on your program schedule. So we believe that we still have some of us next year, okay, especially for executive MBA programs and advanced diploma programs. So wait and look out for the email from February, March, April. You should be looking out for the email because the program will be starting up by August. Okay, July, August, that's when the programs will be starting up. All right, so you look out for the timetable. And for those of us that are in Abuja and Lagos, you can always walk into the offices for your physical trainings. That's if you're not interested in the online trainings, you can walk into the offices for physical training. Then for those of us that are outside of Lagos and Abuja, you can always use the online facilities for your program. All right. We are having an accreditation from from the World Accreditation Agency for Executive MBA programs. So that's the same accreditation that Lagos Business School has for their MBA. So it's the same we are having. So by next year, it's going to be an awesome time. So we'll look out for it. But we are going to make sure that it's accessible to everyone who could be interested. All right. Thank you so much. I just needed to make, because now that we are talking about pricing, I just needed us to understand that most of I think since May or so, we've done several programs. We've trained more than 600 people practically for free since the COVID started. Okay, so and so many people now think, oh, this place is a place you come train for free, there you go. No, it's not really true. Okay, that's part of the discount policies, right, for pricing. Okay, thank you. Okay, quickly, let's look at the Porter's 5 forces of competition. I think we looked at it during the consulting model framework. 5 forces model of competition. We have competitive rivalry, bargaining power of customers, bargaining power of suppliers, threat of new entrants, and then threat of substitutes. Michael Porter was a Harvard Business School management researcher who designed various vital frameworks for developing an organization strategy. One of the most renowned model or framework used by managers making strategic decisions such as pricing strategy is the Porter's 5 forces model that determines industry structure. So let's look at what each of them has to say. According to Porter, the nature of the competition in any industry depends on 5 forces: the threat of new potential entrants, threat of substitutes, threat of substitute product or services, bargaining power of suppliers, bargaining power of buyers, and rivalry among current competitors. These 5 forces should be used as a conceptual background for identifying an organization's competitive strengths and weaknesses and threats to and pricing strategy opportunities for the organization from its competitive environment. Before making strategic decisions, managers should use the 5 forces framework to determine the competitive structure of the industry. The Porter's 5 forces mentioned are significant from the point of view of pricing strategy formulation. The potential of these forces differs from industry to industry. These forces jointly determine the profitability of an industry because they shape the prices which can be charged, the cost which can be borne, and the investment required to compete in the industry. Porter's 5 forces of competition. Let's look at each of them in detail. The power of Porter's 5 forces vary from industry to industry. Whatever be the industry, these 5 forces influence the profitability as they affect the prices, the costs, and the capital investment essential for survival and competition in industry. These 5 forces model also help in deciding pricing strategy and making strategic decisions as it is used by managers to determine industry's competitive structure. Now, let's look at these 5 forces in details and know what it has to tell us. So the first one is risk of entry by potential competitors. Potential competitors mean the firms which are not currently competing in the industry but have the potential to do so. If given a choice, entry of new players increases the industry capacity, begins a competition for the market share, and lowers the current cost. The threat of entry by potential competitor is partially a function of the extent of barriers to the entry. The various barriers to entry are economies of scale, brand loyalty, government regulation, customer switching costs, absolute cost advantage, ease in distribution, and then we'll have strong capital base. If the new entry has strong capital base, it's going to be a case. Then the next one is rivalry among competitors. Rivalry among competitors. Okay, somebody said check your slides. I want to be sure. Is it that you're not seeing the slides? Okay. All right, thank you. Rivalry among current competitors. Rivalry refers to the competitive struggle for market share between firms in an industry. They will have extreme rivalry among established firms poses a strong threat to profitability. The strength of the rivalry among established firms within an industry is a function of following factors: extent of exit barriers, amount of fixed costs, competitive structure of industry, presence of global customers, absence of switching costs, growth rate of industry, demand conditions. They have bargaining power of buyers. Buyers mean the customers who finally consume the product, or the firm who distribute the industry's products to the final consumers. Bargaining power of buyers refers to the potential of buyers to bargain on the prices charged by the firms or to increase the firm's cost by demanding better quality and service. Strong buyers can reduce the profits of an industry by lowering the prices and increasing the cost. They are regarded as threats because they purchase in large quantities, they have full information about the product and the market, they emphasize upon quality products, they pose credible threat of backward integration. Now, bargaining power of buyers, of suppliers rather, bargaining power of suppliers. Suppliers here refer to the firms that provide inputs to the industry. Bargaining power of the suppliers here refers to the potential of the suppliers to increase the prices of the inputs or the costs of the industry. In other ways, strong suppliers can reduce profits of an industry by increasing costs of firms in the industry. They are regarded as trade because suppliers' products have a few substitutes. Strong suppliers' products are unique. They have they have high switching costs. Their product is an important input to the buyer's product. They pose credible threats of forward integration. Buyers are not significant to strong suppliers. Now I have threat of substitute products. Substitute products here refer to the products having the ability of satisfying customers' need effectively. Substitute pose a ceiling or upper limit on the potential returns of an industry by setting a limit on the price that the firms can charge for their product in an industry. The lesser number of close substitutes a product has, greater is the opportunity for the firm or for the firms in the industry to raise the prices of their products and earn greater profits, other things being equal. Limitations of the Porter's five forces. Porter in his five forces model has ignored a sixth significant factor, which is complement. This term refers to the dependency that developed between the companies whose products work in combination with each other. Strong complement products might have a strong positive effect on the industry. Then the Five forces model also overlook the role of innovation as well as significance of individual firm differences. It presents a stagnant view of competition. Let's look at the various types of pricing models. The sale of goods from manufacturers to consumers is done with the sole purpose of incurring a profit. The price of the goods or products and the pricing model followed by the manufacturer plays a large role in making an organization successful. Some of the different types of pricing models followed by organizations are the cost profit pricing, psychological pricing, pricing less than competition, pricing above competition, competitive pricing, discount pricing, and multiple pricing. We'll look at each of them in detail, but let's go for a 2 minutes break and then we'll be back. 2 minutes and then we'll be back. All right, thank you so much for giving me that little break or for taking that little break. Okay, so let's look at each of these things in detail and then we'll be back. Cost profit pricing. Cost profit pricing model works on the following principle. Cost price of manufacturing the product plus profit decided by the manufacturer, which will give you the final price of the product. Cost of manufacturing the product plus profit decided by the manufacturer will give you the final price of the product. Now, um, there was something I read. I forgotten the book I read it from, whether it is the 100 Absolute Laws of Business. I can't really remember, but I read this book and they were giving a case study, and that case study was synonymous to pricing consulting, right? But before I proceed, in consulting, what really do we sell? In consulting, what really do we sell? Can you give me your feedback in the chat room? What really do we sell in consulting? What really do we sell in consulting? Can you share with us in the chat? What really do we sell? What are we selling? As consultants, what are we selling? Just in one word, what are we selling? Okay, so I see we are selling service, we are selling expertise, we are selling knowledge. The truth is that in consulting, what we are selling is knowledge. That's all. We are using knowledge to provide solutions. But essentially, what we are selling is knowledge. So how do you determine the price of the knowledge now? That's where the case is. Because most people undervalue what they know, right? And that will bring me to this case study that I read about. Now, I read of this case study of a young man who happens to be an electrical engineer. Okay, so he was called upon by a company to come and help them fix their generator, their powerhouse. Now, before they called him, they've called several other engineers who couldn't fix it. Now, when the young man came on board, um, they said he tried all he could, but he couldn't find a solution. So he decided to sleep with the machine. So he was sleeping in the machine house for 3 days. And what he was busy doing was studying the whole of the machine. And at the third day, he called the engineers in that company and told them to disassemble all the machine. And to disassemble the machine was a very great work. So they disassembled all the machine. And while they have disassembled all the machine, he found the problem in one small um, metal that was worn out. So he fixed the metal, he changed the metal and asked them to couple the machine back. And they coupled the machine back, and he asked them to start the machine. And he started the machine, and the machine started working perfectly. And they asked him, how much is your price? And he told them $12,000. And they were like, huh? $12,000 for what? Are they buying a new machine? And he told them no. So they said, okay. The people thought they were smart, and they said, okay, you have to give us a breakdown of the $12,000 so that we can know how to pay you. And he took a paper and wrote two things. First, he wrote transport, feeding, and logistics, $2,000. And they didn't have issue with that. And then he wrote knowledge, $10,000. And they couldn't go ahead bargaining. They had to pay him his $12,000, and he left. Now, a similar case happened to one of the banks I know here. The operations manager was telling me, because the operations manager attended a program where we are talking about pricing. I think he attended strategic business management course. Okay, so there he was talking about an experience where they invited, their machine had an issue, their power machine had an issue, and they invited several people, and nobody could fix the issue. And all the people that will come, when they come and try, they couldn't fix it. They will give the person 4,000, 2,000, and the person will go. Now, they had to call this young man, who happens to be a roadside power gen mechanic. And he said the mechanic told them that he will fix the problem, but before he fixed the problem, that let them agree on the price. And they asked him, what's the price? He said the only thing he will charge them is 60,000 naira. And we're like, 60,000? Others have been charging 4,000, 3,000, 2,000. So the mechanic asked them a question. So why didn't they fix it if they were charging you 2,000, 4,000, 3,000? And they couldn't give an answer. And the operations manager said he actually had to pay the young man 40,000 to fix that problem. So in essence, what we are selling is knowledge through expertise. Every other person could have knowledge of something, but knowledge through expertise, the right application of knowledge, that's what we are selling. So that may make the whole pricing a little dicey. Like, you don't really know how much. The pricing on consulting should be dependent on the value it will bring to the person you're consulting for. I will repeat this again. The pricing on any particular consulting assignment will be dependent on the value that solution is going to bring to the person you're consulting for. Did you get my question, my statement? The pricing of a consulting should be dependent on the value, the perceived value it is going to be bringing to the client. That's where your pricing should come from. And that's why you see some consultants, they will tell you the pricing of their work will be 10% of the total contract you're going to do, 15%, 5%, as the case may be. So to avoid dragging, they will just give it out in percentage. So what's the total cost of, okay, whatever be the total cost, not my concern, but my concern is that you pay me 5% of the total project cost or 10% of the total project. I think the maximum I've seen so far, the highest I've seen so far is 15-20% of the total project cost. Okay, that's the maximum I've seen so far. All right. All right. Okay. So I trust we understand that little thing I say there, because that will help us. According to cost profit pricing model, the manufacturer adds some extra amount of the actual cost price of manufacturing the product to earn his share of profit. The final price of the product includes the profit as decided by the manufacturer. This pricing model is based on profit of the manufacturer. It is one of the easiest pricing models to calculate the price of the product. The increase in the price of the product is directly proportional to the increase in the cost of price. Um, in the cost price rather. The customers do not have a say in cost profit pricing model. So the producer or the consultant definitely fixes his price the way he or she wants it. Psychological pricing. Psychological pricing is based on the principle of using a psychological price to fix the price of a product. Psychological price is that particular price of a product at which the consumer willingly purchases the product. The consumer perceives such a price to be correct. So a manufacturer sets a psychological price which he feels will meet the expectations of the buyers and they would easily buy the product. Pricing lesser than the competition as another strategy. In the pricing lesser than competition pricing model, a manufacturer set the price of the product lesser than what is being offered by his competitors. This strategy is generally adopted to quickly amass a large market share away from the competitor and to establish oneself in the market as the market leader rather. They will have pricing above competition. In the pricing higher than the competition model, a manufacturer sets the price of the product a little higher than what is being offered by his competitors. However, before pricing his product higher than his competitors, a manufacturer has to keep certain aspects in mind. Exclusive benefit of the product, unique qualities of the product, brand image of the manufacturer, excellent customer service, product not offered by anyone else, product catering to or following latest rage in the industry. Competitive pricing. The cutthroat competition in the market prompts the manufacturer to guarantee excellent customer service to the buyers so that buyers prefer them over their competitors. In the competitive pricing model, the price of the merchandise is more or less similar to the competitors, but the manufacturers add on certain attractive benefits for the customer, such as greater benefits, offers, discount, gift. It is the manufacturers ensure that the customers buy their product by having an edge over the competitors. He tries his level best to offer better services to the customers for a better business in future. Discount pricing. In the discount pricing model, the manufacturer sells his product at a discounted price during off seasons or to clear out his stock. Multiple pricing. In the multiple pricing model, the manufacturer sells multiple products, more than one, for a single price. This is done as the manufacturer combines a few products to be sold for a single fixed price. So we could see this in most products, like if you look at Peak, they could say several products, but at the same price. So you have Peak Choco, Peak Sachets, Peak 1, 2, 3, and all of that. The same price or price range, but variable products. Tip: while creating pricing strategies that work for your organization, you should keep in mind that best practice doesn't equal best strategy. This is because although blindly copying someone else's best practices may initially improve your company's operational efficiency, it will eventually have harmful and detrimental financial and behavioral effects. This happens because once you start following a leader, your products and services will become more homogenized with the leader's products and services. Okay, let's look at what is price list, or list price rather. I think we've explained this before, but let's look at it again. The list price is the final price that the final end user of a product are charged and have to pay to purchase the product. What does list price include? The list price may include any or all of the following: cost of manufacturing, warranty, credit, delivery, physical good or service, assurance of quality, packaging cost, repair facilities, and all of that. Then steps for developing pricing strategy. What are the steps? Let's quickly look at them. You have marketing mix for companies comprised of 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotion. Price is directly related to the bottom line of any business. Profitability of a product is required for future operation of the company. So how should they set their pricing? Pricing strategy should communicate to the customer that the value that the company's product is providing to them. There are several price-related challenges in the market for companies. Moreover, with the advent of the internet, customers' awareness of pricing information has improved. Pricing strategy is dynamic in nature and should reflect changing conditions in competition as well as the market. Pricing strategies can be developed by following these 6 steps: fulfilling position objectives, analyzing demand curve, setting profit margin, conducting competitor analysis, using different methods, and then choosing final strategy. Looking at each of them in detail: fulfilling position objective, pricing facilitates in achieving the positioning objectives of the company. If the company is facing tough competition or running at overcapacity, then price would be set taking into account the variable cost and some of fixed costs. This strategy is short-term in nature. If the company is looking forward to maximizing profit, then it sets higher price by considering competition and cost. This strategy has risk of running into trouble with consumer or legal issue. If the consumer is looking forward to improving and maximizing market share, then it will set lower price as to generate maximum volume. Companies looking forward to introducing new technology and voluntary products look to set a market skimming price. Law of economics, that's analyzing demand curve. Law of economics says that at every price level, there is a definite demand for the product. However, this law varies with nature of product. For example, commodity demand will fall with the rise in the price, and for luxury goods, the demand will rise with a price increase. They will have certain profit margin. Companies need to plot the demand curve with respect to price as to understand price sensitivity. This demand curve can be estimated using statistical methods, by analyzing historical data, or by performing price-related experiments to understand what customers are willing to pay, or through market research, or and putting the questions directly to the customers. They have certain profit margin. Companies need to manage cost for to be left with respectable margin of profit. Companies need to establish a level of production at which fixed and variable costs can be maintained. Generally, it is observed that as production level increases, cost per unit increases, or perhaps cost per unit decreases owing to learning curve effect, which comes through experience. Activity-based costing is getting in prominence as to allocate the cost properly, which helps in estimation estimation profit or estimating profit correctly. Another way of cost setting is through the target costing, made famous by Japanese companies. In target costing, companies set price and profit level, after which they concentrate on cost as to maintain the profit level. Conducting competitor analysis. Companies need to pay particular attention to what competition is doing with respect to price, cost, and promotional offers. Companies need to be aware by how much competitors can vary their price against the price set by the company. Using different methods, there are various methods used to set the price. Most common is the markup method, where price is set at desired profit level. Target return pricing method talks about setting price based on return on investment set by the company. Perceived value pricing method talks about setting price based on the perceived value in customer price and or consumer price and company's ability to deliver that value. In value pricing methods, companies charge lower price for higher quality product from loyal customers. This method is usually seen in the supermarket. Auction type pricing, going rate pricing, and group pricing are other pricing methods. Choosing final strategy. After following the earlier 5 steps, a company can then make the final choice of price. This final price is set looking at consumer perception towards quality and product. That's very, very important. Whatever price you're trying to put, just know that customers will always view it on the basis of quality and product. Positioning as per the marketing and advertising campaign also determine final price also. A company should ensure that the pricing should adapt to factors like geographical locations, market segments, and economic conditions. Companies should remain flexible towards pricing policy and change as per market dynamics. Companies should also not react blindly to price change by competition, rather should focus on analyzing underlying motives. Okay, so because of time, I may have to skip through this, but please ensure to read through these case studies in your manual. Okay, let's look at pricing objectives, types of pricing objective. We have profit-oriented pricing objective, sales-oriented pricing objective, and status quo-oriented pricing objective. For the profit-oriented pricing objective, of course, just the name tells us exactly what it is. It specifies a certain level of profit through setting a target return objective. For example, a target return objective may be set as percentage of sales or return on investment. Such a pricing objective works well in large companies as performance can be compared against the target. In such large companies, when product or divisions fail to generate the target return, they may get removed. Hence, such profit-oriented pricing objective aim at profit maximization and to make as much profit as possible. You should bear in mind that profit-oriented pricing objective does not necessarily mean that products are priced at lesser or products are priced at high prices rather. Keeping low prices can help an organization expand the size of the market share and at the same time provide greater sales and profit. Also, a high profit industry always tend to attract competitors, which will further lead to lowering of prices. So it's left for you to decide which one you want. Sales-oriented pricing objective. Sales-oriented pricing objective specifies a certain level of sales, unit sales, dollar or naira, CD sales, or market share without specifying profit. Generally, non-profit organizations use a sales-oriented pricing objective. Also, majority of the organizations also try to get a specified share of the market. This is because it is relatively easier to measure market share than to know if a firm's profit are being maximized. Moreover, a large market share also offers an organization the greater benefit, having better economies of scale. You should always keep in mind that sales growth does not necessarily lead to increased profit. This may happen because of costs, because if costs grow faster than sales, a large market share may still lead to decreased profit. Now we have the status quo-oriented pricing. Status quo-oriented pricing objective mainly aim to preserve stable prices and to match or avoid competition. Such a pricing objective is used when an organization is stable in the market and is happy with its current market share or profit and does not want to disturb a stable position. However, status quo pricing objectives may still be a part of an aggressive marketing strategy. For an example, both McDonald's and Burger King follow a very aggressive marketing strategy, and yet both have stabilized their prices and at the same time have experienced growth. Did you know that one of the approaches to create great working pricing strategies is to look to the past to seek ideas for the present? Hence, you can look at the past pricing strategy trends that worked in the market and for your organization and create ideas by tweaking those pricing strategies to work in the present day environment. And finally, what do we mean by price sensitivity? Price sensitivity can be defined as the consciousness of the customers to cost windows or range within which they make dealings. Are they, or perhaps all the customers are always price sensitive and concentrate basically on buying products at cheaper rates. However, price sensitivity of a customer substantially depends on the condition of the market. For example, if a product becomes extraordinarily famous and demanding in the market, and every company trying to capture this product market, then it becomes necessary to focus on technological aspects rather than focusing on the pricing. If they do so, they should keep in mind that price sensitivity of these customers is least. Similarly, if a product becomes common in the market due to emerging competitors coming up with similar but more prominent products, then in this competition, the value of the product decreases and companies become rarely bothered with them. In this scenario, the customers have the right to become highly price sensitive as they know that they can negotiate with the suppliers to a greater extent. This is why the customers are called as high price sensitive customers. It is important for suppliers to understand how price sensitive the customers are so that they can focus on some strategies to always keep their customers falling under the least price sensitive stage. For example, reducing $1 on a towel's price could put that towel on a sale and everybody rushes to buy it. But reducing $1 on a car um, will not make any difference and will not attract customers. So know what is your differentiating factor. Hence, the primary challenge for um, strategies to decrease price sensitivity. Hence, the primary challenge for all organizations should be making certain that the change in price is perceptible for all the customers. Price sensitivity strategy for suppliers also depends on customers' usage of products. There can be two categories of customers as per the buying aspect: heavy buying users and light buying users. Take an example of an organization which consists of 30% heavy buyers and 70% light buyers. Now, if the organization cut off the price of products to some extent only for heavy users, then a substantial growth in percentage from 30 to 40% is probably possible. And obviously, 40% heavy buyers and 60% light buyers will be more productive for the organization rather than 30% heavy buyers and 70% light buyers. Hence, knowing about the customer's price sensitivity always helps suppliers to satisfy customers. If the customer is highly competitive and perceives short-term objective, then it is not worthy for suppliers to convince them for high-end or expensive products. The customer will always, or the customer will anyway supercharge to reduce the cost or cut the related frills as it may not be affordable or is out of budget for them to purchase. So it is important for suppliers to sacrifice on cost, or else he may leave the cost unsatisfied. In most cases, he may lose that customer also. Making fruitful strategies and efficiently analyzing price sensitivity is the most important challenges that an organization faces. On the other hand, it is desirable to the deal efficiently with on the other hand, it is desirable to deal efficiently with it. The best practice is to pre-evaluate the customer's needs and make a fair offer to them according to their requirements and budget. All right, for the sake of time, I'm going to skip through this also. I think that's where I'm going to stop anyway. And then I will say one or two things, and then we'll be rounding up on this particular class. Okay, so we've talked about pricing. And the last thing we just spoke about is price sensitivity. In consulting, if there is anything that people are afraid of, it is cost. Even when even when people are well aware of the value of your bringing, they are very pessimistic when it comes to cost. So whatsoever strategy you need to use to get customers off the hook of fear of cost and the likes, you have to do it. Yesterday I spoke about a strategy called risk reversal. The risk reversal gives them opportunity to believe you absolutely, try your product, and then decide to pay you at your own rate. And at that time, they would have tested, perceived the value, and they are willing to pay. All right. So price sensitivity needs to be dealt with. Now, I said another thing. Before you put a price on a product or you put a price on your consulting outfit, please make sure that the price you're setting is equivalent to the perceived value that the customer is having in mind. Okay, is equivalent to the pricing that the customer is having in mind. Now, to be so frank with you, let's assume that CIMC now says this program is 10,000 naira. There are so many people that won't even think it. They won't even come. At 115,000 naira, there are people who are willing to go. What if I tell you that at 500,000 or 1 million, we are possibly going to have more customers than we have now? Yes, it's just all about psychology. I remember sometimes, or not even sometimes, anytime we throw completely open scholarship programs, people ask several questions like, are you sure this is real? Are you sure this is this, that? But when you put a fee, they begin to pay. They don't ask the question of whether it's real or not. So what am I trying to say? When you are pricing, if you're not doing it free, and I tell you the truth, all of us that do free consulting, we have so many questions to answer. If you've ever done free consulting before, you know that you have several questions to answer. The greatest opposition I've actually seen is free consulting. It's free consulting. Okay, you get to have several oppositions. Not even opposition from competitors. You have opposition from people you want to provide the service to. They have so many doubts, and you have to clear them. Okay, but at what worst case scenario, you must be ready to provide. That's if you're charging, right? You must be able to provide your cost or pricing based on the perceived value. All right. Then another important thing about pricing is always try to discuss um, the price with your customers, right? Remember, in Blue Ocean strategy, say you should develop the product with your customer. So in such case, he or she would have given you some indication of what pricing should look like. So if you are developing the consulting experience with your customer or with your client, pricing will become less a challenge. Okay. And there is something I will say before I round up this particular class and take questions. And that is, if you're selling a consulting, sell value, not price. As much as you can, try to throw away price and sell value first. If the customer or the client gets to understand and appreciate the value very well, he'll be the one to ask you how much is the price. Okay. Most of the consulting experience, especially those, if you notice most websites that actually do consulting, they don't put prices there because most people natively, as soon as they just see price, whether it is big, small, mid, it doesn't concern them. Price is a very big deterrent in the consulting industry. So we have to be very careful as to presenting value first rather than talking about price. Okay. And on this juncture, I would like to say a very big thank you once again for your time. Um, I'll be handing over to SME Doctor for questions. I perceive we should have questions in this regard, but if we don't have questions, we'll move on to the next one. Please, SME Doctor, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Banito. Hello.
Yes, we are with you, sir. Thank you.
Sorry, my network was not really good. I was off and on.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, we are here with you.
Okay. What is the phase of events, sir?
Our question and answers.
Okay. Okay. So, please, we'll be expecting your questions. You can raise your hand up or drop it on the chat room.
I think I'll prefer questions that are vocal.
Vocal, right?
I think I'll prefer
I also prefer that. I also prefer that. So please, if you want to ask questions, kindly just raise your hand and we'll unmute you. A lot has been said, so we also expect a lot of questions as to the topic in question.
Right, pricing is a very sensitive case in consulting. So
it's a very sensitive case.
If anybody that does not ask me question now.
I had an experience when I started newly, and because I was a consultant, then when we were working in the hospitality industry, our consultant, the consultant was being paid about 400,000 every 2 weeks. So when I started, and I said, let me also put my own price. When I went somewhere, I said, okay, I won't be greedy to ask 400,000 every 2 weeks. And I asked of 200,000 every 2 weeks, and they asked me, do you want to buy the company or what? So, so pricing is a very sensitive issue. It's a very sensitive issue. So please let us ask questions. Let's ask questions, please. The more we ask, the more we know more. You know, the more knowledge we get. So we'll just give like 120 seconds. That's 2 minutes for people to get the liver. Maybe they are still trying to gather up liver to ask the question.
Okay.
Okay, attendance has also been dropped, so let us do well to write our attendance. Today's class has been awesome from 2 o'clock. So we thank all those who have been with us from then till now.
Okay, no questions are coming in.
No questions, sir. So
it means that nobody here has a pricing challenge now. As a consultant, you don't have a pricing challenge.
Okay. Yes, it means that everything is well understood.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so this class is supposed to drive till 8 o'clock, but and we're supposed to have a practical after this. But because of the number of people we have here, we're going to reschedule this practical to next weekend, which will be in the morning session. Our morning session next weekend, Saturdays by 6 a.m. So in the 6 a.m. to 10 o'clock lecture, that's when we'll have all the time. And that is going to be our last class for this particular training. That's going to be our last class. So that day we'll talk about consumer behavior, and then we'll talk about setting up your own firm completely from A to Z. We do that, and then we'll call it a day, and then we expect our certificates. Now, if you still want to get your materials, please, you can still get your materials. If you are getting materials, it's 10,000 naira. Materials is 10,000 naira, or $25. So you have 10,000 naira or $25, and you can pay to the UBA account provided. Let me see whether we'll see the account. 25. Can I get the account? Let me. And then for those of us that still want to pay for certification, you can still go ahead and pay for certification. We'll be pushing out all requests by Monday next week. So by Monday, we should have collected all information and then push it out. Okay. Um, okay. Where is the account number here? I can't get the account number. Okay, so we'll put that in the chat room, brother. Put that in the chat room. Okay, somebody asked a question, say 10K or 35K. Okay, if you're only going for the materials, it's 10K. If you're going for the materials and training and the certificate, the 35K is a discount for those who are going for the CIMC. If you're going for CIMC senior, you get discounted 35,000 for your IPM training and certification, which qualifies you for the CIMC certification. Now, if you're going for associate, it's 25K, that's discounted. If you are not going for CIMC, then your fee senior is 85,000 and associate is 65,000. Okay, senior is 85,000. That's if you're not going for CIMC chartered. Senior is 85,000 only, and then associate is 65,000. Now, if you're going for CIMC, instead of charging you 85,000 by IIPM, then you still pay 115,500, and then we'll now say, okay, just pay 35,000 for senior, for IPM certification and training and manual, and then you can go ahead and pay the one for CIMC. But if you're not paying for CIMC, then associate is certified associate management consultant is 65,000, and then certified senior management consultant is 85,000. I trust that is understandable, right? Okay, so we are going to draw the curtain from here. Then we'll meet on Saturday by 6 a.m. so that those who didn't come to class today will miss quite a lot. I think this is a good arrangement. SME doctor, what do you think?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, so that being said, I think we can just draw the curtain from here and let's go and prepare for tomorrow.
All right, please, everyone should take their attendance. Also, follow us on all our social media handles. Like our YouTube channel and subscribe so you can get all the lectures. All these lectures are on YouTube as well for this particular one and our previous lecture. So do well to get them. For some of us who want to be consulted, who are because I don't have websites, please use your LinkedIn and your Facebook very well. LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram depends on what you are doing actually. So make good use of them. It works. It works very well. I'm a testimony of that. It works. Almost any post I make, I always have plenty inbox to reply, and people making an inquiry. Out of maybe 20 people made an inquiry, we have 10 potentials, and out of 10 potential, 2 eventually will close out business. So it works. Consistency, resilience matters in the consultancy industry as well. All right. If we finish taking our attendance, we'll have no choice but to close the curtain for the day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Sorry, I want to quickly ask a question because you've been hammering on this thing, and I don't know how many people here could actually understand the power of this thing that you keep saying. Please, if you ever got to meet IPM through Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Play, or Google page, or any other way. You got to meet IPM through the digital platforms. Can you just wave your hand? Just wave your hand. Let's see your hand up. Just wave. Are we still together here? If you got to meet IPM through digital platform, okay, so I have Mr. Pius. Okay, so others, how did you get to meet us? Okay, I have Mr. Ifani. Of course, I know Mr. Ishmael joined us through the social media. Now, if even if it's only 2 people that joined us through social media, all the posts we'll be making, are they not worth it? So what SME Doctor had been hammering on is actually a practical thing. Get your customized flyers and then use them effectively. Okay, maybe out of 1,000 friends you have on social media, if you're able to get 1 deal in a month, that is a good thing rather than keeping quiet. So on that note, I would like to say a very big thank you to everyone, and thank you to SME Doctor for a wonderful time out. So thank you to everyone. We will meet again by Saturday, 6 a.m. Please don't miss that time. I think that would be a good time for our brain to calm down and then work out all these activities. All right. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Very good. Have a very wonderful, blessed week ahead. God bless you.
All right. You too, sir.